Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli. Watch the greenbacks tumble.
Oh, boy. That's too much bliss. Dr. Shealy, does that sound like the first time I tried bliss when
I wish everybody had the response you did. What a happy world we'd have.
Do you remember? Oh, gee. Do you remember that first time that I walked into the studio in Springfield and you were broadcasting the hour before I was broadcasting and I walked in and to say hi to you at the bottom of the hour on your broadcast, just to say hi. And you gave me this bottle of Bliss, and I put it on, and I was, boy, absolutely blissed. I was unable to continue the broadcast when I started.
Well, I remember when we did all 5 oils on you last year.
Oh, man.
You sort of passed out for 7 hours.
You said something very interesting. You said I probably ought to have a designated driver, or words to that effect. What we did, Dr. Shealy applied my blood was taken, and we're doing a finalization of this test to see if my life will be extended, and some other people like Mrs. Finelli and my mom were involved in the test. And Dr. Shealy had us come to a testing facility where our blood was drawn in Springfield. And I was in this back room where he applied all the oils. And I'll tell you what, I didn't care about anything. I just sat there after it, I just sat in the waiting room. I was pretty much, I was there, but I was not concerned about anything. Right?
So it's coming time soon for you to get a repeat.
Very soon. Yes. And we're going to do the test. And why don't we talk about that, Dr. Shealy? So, I've been applying these oils. Mrs. Finelli's been applying them. My mom is applying them. And so what are we how does this test work? I think this would be interesting for the class to hear about this.
Well, basically, I started 10 years ago looking at ways of rejuvenating telomeres, the tips of your DNA. Your DNA sort of has caps on it, so there are 4 of them, the double helix, and these 2 little lines that intersect like a snake going up and down. And every year of life, if you have good health habits, they shrink an average of 1%. So we're programmed to live 100 years if we have good health habits. Now, the average American lives 78 years, so the average American has pretty sloppy health habits. And a lot of people die very much younger than 78. At any rate, we found that stimulating specific acupuncture points that I call rings will rejuvenate the telomeres, but using electricity, it would take you an hour a day, and nobody's going to spend that. So we switched 2 years ago to using the oils on the rings, and so far, of the 6 people who finished, we are getting just as good growth with the oils as we were with electrical stimulation. It takes about 2.5 minutes a day once you learn the points. So hopefully you and your family will, in our hall of famous people who've increased their life expectancy.
So now you have done this on yourself, Dr. Shealy, and what were your results?
Well, I'm 82 years of age, and my telomeres are now approximately 37 years younger than I am, on average. So I'm averaging 3.7% growth per year. Interestingly, my daughter just finished her first year with the oils, and hers grew 8.4% this past year.
Now, was she applying twice a day?
No, obviously, maybe there's a genetic component that helps, but
well, she has a lot of energy, Dr. Shealy. I mean,
she does, and
she's a very happy person.
Yes, and she's a very conscientious person, by the way, Vince.
Yes,
and let's face it, and she's an extrovert, and extroversion improves a lot of things in people. Happiness improves a lot of things in people. And being conscientious. So all of those things do work together. It's never one factor.
Yeah, as you mentioned that, Dr. Shealy, yeah, I know. I've met your daughter several times, and she really is bubbly and vivacious and happy, and she has all these. She's a lot of fun to be with when she's in a group, and I'm thinking about the opposite. Those people who I've seen walk with their head down, they're grumpy, their health is not as good.
Well, that's right. You can't
Generally
afford
speaking.
the luxury. I'm not being facetious when I consider it a stupid luxury to be unhappy over almost anything.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't change it, you need to be able to ignore it and detach from it. I'm not saying that you need to detach from bad things, but if you can't change it, just make it worse by wallowing in manure.
I've been to meetings, corporate level meetings when I used to have a job back in the 1980s. And there were individuals who, I don't want to say that people didn't like them, but maybe that is the case. And, well, what would happen is some of these people could come into a meeting and, the meeting, but let's say before the meeting starts, there's, all the pleasantries and people are starting to gather in the conference room and, there's some laughing and, everybody's having, some fun and, this is before the official serious meeting starts. And then one guy can walk in and suck the energy, the positive feeling right out of the room. It's like someone turned on a machine when this guy walked in and all the fun is gone. The smiles are gone. And it's not like he's the boss. It's just like he's so negative that he neutralizes or removes the positive energy out of the room. And I'm wondering if those, and I'm sure you've seen people like that, haven't you, Dr. Shealy?
Oh, yeah. I call them, they're sappers who suck energy and zappers who, explode your energy.
Mm-hmm. And do those people would you say they have a tendency to not live as long because of their negativity?
Exactly. Interestingly, the two major personality traits, if you will, and problems are depression and anger.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Hans Eysenck, a wonderful German psychiatrist who actually did most of his work in England, studied people for over 20 years. And he and a colleague in Heidelberg analyzed 13,000 people, about over 35 years ago. And they categorized them as to lifelong happy, well-adjusted, lifelong angry, lifelong depression, or can't make up their mind. They both move between anger and depression. The 99.2% of the people who died earlier of heart disease and cancer were either depressed or angry or both all of their lives.
So the one thing that we can take from this is that if early in life, if you can avoid marrying the wrong person, choosing the wrong person to be, your lifelong partner, so that you have someone that you're happy with rather than someone you're unhappy with. And if you can choose to work in a field that you enjoy rather than work because you need money, those two things could tend to extend your life. Is that what we're saying? Is that the takeaway? Yes,
absolutely. To me, I have to say the thing, there are two things. First of all, is your parents.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And, I have no idea what your mother was like when you were a child, but your mother's a dear, wonderful, sweet person. And that's just, she's a love bug.
Yeah. People like my mom. She's got a lot of energy and she's happy and yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the right kind of parent to have. I mean,
mm-hmm.
If your parents are nurturing and happy, already you have accomplished a huge bit of life for yourself. Now, if your parents are rude, crude, angry, depressed, and mistreat you, then you've got a long road to hoe, and you need to spend a lot of time, recovering from that, because it isn't going to do you any good to wallow in the manure. But then, after the parents, the second most important thing, in my opinion, in life is choosing a life partner. And if you are, choose a wonderful life partner that's loving, supporting, nurturing, well, you don't need to worry about much else.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Norman Shealy's with us. I'm Vince Finelli, and I've got an update. Yesterday, we were broadcasting with Larry Nichols, and he said he's going to Kentucky, and he's absolutely livid about the gay marriage situation. And I've got an update about Kim Davis and what Larry Nichols thinks is happening. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Hey neighbor, what are you doing digging? You had a heart attack last year.
Oh, I know. I was told no more hard labor.
Then why are you digging?
Well, I've been taking Extendovite. It's been approved to help my heart.
Extendovite? Is that a new drug?
No, not a drug. It's more like an herbal combination made from garlic and cayenne.
Herbal? How can that help?
Well, actually, we've taken herbs for thousands of years. Extendovite is doing the job for me.
Does your doctor know about Extendovite?
Yeah, my doctor knows, and he said it seems to be working for you, so don't stop taking it. I feel great taking Extendovite. I don't want to stop.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Ricky LeBlanc, admitted in Mass only. Sokolov Law, LLC, Chestnut Hill, Mass. Ken Levin, responsible attorney in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Greg Hobby, New Jersey. The choice of lawyer is an important decision that should not be based solely upon advertisements. While this firm maintains joint responsibility, most cases of this type are referred to other attorneys for principal responsibility. If you know what mesothelioma is, you or someone you love has likely been impacted by this devastating cancer. You may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolov Law today. 1-800-218-HELP. The only known cause of mesothelioma is asbestos exposure. Thousands of hardworking men and women, including many U.S. veterans and industrial workers, have been diagnosed with mesothelioma because manufacturers knew the dangers but put profits ahead of people. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trust has been set aside to pay money to asbestos victims. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call now. You may be entitled to receive compensation without ever going to court or filing a lawsuit. Call for a free legal consultation at 1-800-218-HELP. That's 1-800-218-HELP.
Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
Dr. Norman Shealy's with us, medical doctor, researcher, PhD ×3, author, Native American medicine man, farmer, and my friend. And Dr. Shealy, yesterday, Larry Nichols was on with us, and he was talking about this, the situation in Kentucky where Kim Davis was jailed for not issuing gay marriage licenses. So he said he was going to go down to Kentucky and he was going to literally expose behaviors of some of the people in government that they did not want to have exposed. You know, like the dirty laundry. He said he was going to go do that. And he was, unless they released her and they stopped issuing marriage licenses to homosexuals. That's what he said. So he raised some money. He raised about half the money that he needed to go. So a couple hours, I mean, it was a pretty rough broadcast yesterday. I've gotten a lot of calls about it. Not complaints. I haven't gotten any complaints. People are calling me and they said, you know, a couple hours after the broadcast, Kim Davis was released from jail. So I called Larry and I got his voicemail. I left a message and I said, so Larry, can you call me? I'd like to talk to you about this. He called me last night. And I said, Larry, did we have anything to do with that? Did we have anything to do with her being released? Did you do something, Larry, that I don't know about? Words to that effect. And we're not sure. We're not sure if people in Kentucky were listening and thought, you know, this could be another Ferguson. This could be another situation that just the protesters get out of control and maybe the National Guard would be called. And we're thinking that maybe this is, you know, this is the Tea Party. Maybe this is the event that would cause America to come together to say, that's it, we've had it, and start rising up. And so they let the officials in Kentucky let Kim Davis out of jail, and they moved her off to the side, and she's not signing marriage licenses anymore. And Larry and I talked about that, and he believes that this is capitulation. This is not we won. This is just capitulation, where they just moved her off to the side and they're just going to have other people sign these gay marriage licenses. And he's absolutely against it. And he wants to get the priests and the rabbis and the ministers and the preachers all involved, the churches involved in talking about this. Forget the 501c3. Just start talking about it and how wrong it is to issue marriage licenses. Now, if two homosexuals want to live together, that's up to them. But in terms of forming an official union, that's a problem for Larry. So he told me that he's going to call the governor today and say, look, I'm coming to Kentucky. So, we can prevent all this, or I'm coming to Kentucky. So I just want to share that with you, Dr. Shealy. That is in the news right now. And do you have any thoughts about gay marriage, official gay marriage?
I'll tell you, Vince, I don't agree that it should be called marriage, but it's so unimportant compared to the troubles of this country that I cannot see wasting energy over it. Unless somehow you want to change the entire Supreme Court, it just isn't worth the fight. We have 50 other government nonsense things that are critically more important.
What's high on your list, Dr. Shealy?
High on my list? Highest on my list is getting rid of 98% of people in Congress.
I agree.
Getting rid of the man in the White House.
I agree.
Both of those, I consider all of those people huge criminals. I wouldn't trust one of them to tell me the time of day. Now, once we've gotten rid of those SOBs, then we have to remake the country.
I think that many, if not every one of our class, is in total agreement with you. And maybe that's why Donald Trump is rising in popularity, because he's not one of the popular politicians. We'll be right back. Dr. Norman Shealy.
No way. Is that a real bullet necklace?
No, it's a 9mm bullet necklace with matching earrings, you'll notice.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get them?
Dave found them at patriotnecklace.com.
Wow.
They have a variety of calibers and necklaces and earrings and keychains.
Patriotnecklace.com?
Patriotnecklace.com.
Your choice of caliber bullet includes a rugged American-made stainless steel dog tag chain. A percentage of every sale goes to military and service-related charities. And get a discount by entering GCN at checkout. Show your patriotism and support our troops with a bullet necklace from patriotnecklace.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Ricky LeBlanc, admitted in Mass only. Sokolov Law, LLC, Chestnut Hill, Mass. Ken Levin, responsible attorney in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Greg Hobby, New Jersey. The choice of lawyer is an important decision that should not be based solely upon advertisements. While this firm maintains joint responsibility, most cases of this type are referred to other attorneys for principal responsibility. If you know what mesothelioma is, you or someone you love has likely been impacted by this devastating cancer. You may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolov Law today. 1-800-218-HELP. The only known cause of mesothelioma is asbestos exposure. Thousands of hard-working men and women, including many U.S. veterans and industrial workers, have been diagnosed with mesothelioma because manufacturers knew the dangers but put profits ahead of people. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trust has been set aside to pay money to asbestos victims. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call now. You may be entitled to receive compensation without ever going to court or filing a lawsuit. Call for a free legal consultation at 1-800-218-HELP. That's 1-800-218-HELP.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Mike Stenerson from Midas Resources. At no time in history have precious metals been more important, certainly not in my 22 years in the industry. The dollar has lost over 90% of its value in the last 60 years. No fiat currency has ever survived the government printing presses. Ours is not immune. The time is now to be proactive. 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. Anything tied to the dollar is at risk. CDs, annuities, 401ks, IRAs, stocks, bonds, you name it, so decide. Do you want to leave a legacy of wealth or debt for your family? The choice is yours. Call me at 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. That's 1-800-686-2237, extension 116. Be proactive, not reactive. Call 1-800-686-2237, extension 116.
Healthy, organic, fresh fish, robust, mouth-watering vegetables, all from your home. It's called aquaponics. This brilliant, self-sustaining protein and veggie system is perfect for year-round growing. Know exactly where your food is coming from. Aquaponicssource.com is the one-stop shop for all your needs. Fish, fish food, plumbing, full systems, classes, and more. Learn to build your own system. Go to aquaponicssource.com for a free guide to aquaponics. That's aquaponicssource.com.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich? Working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare? Having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Class, if you'd like to call us, we'll pay for the call. Dr. Norman Shealy, medical doctor, is with us. And if you'd like to know that number, 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. Repeat, 866-582-9933. And we have a new listen line, and it works really, really well. I've called it, I've tried it, and it works right away. No commercials. It just goes right into the broadcast. That number, 605-477-3249. 605-477-3249. So if you'd like to listen to your favorite broadcast classroom, 24 hours a day, 605-477-3249. And, Dr. Shealy, you know, there's a post on the internet that Bruce Jenner, the athlete, may be facing manslaughter charges in the crash where his vehicle crashed into another one, and this woman ended up dying in another vehicle. And now Bruce says he's Caitlin. Bruce says he's a woman, but he may end up spending a year in a men's jail for manslaughter. You know, society's getting really complicated, Dr. Shealy.
Oh, yes. Some people are crazy.
I mean, he can point.
I do consider people who want to change their gender sicker than those who want to get married to somebody of the same sex. But everything is relative, you know.
Yeah. Now, yeah, there's another post that is very important, and let me talk about the post and let me tell you what my reaction is, and I'd certainly like to hear your reaction. But I'll tell you what I plan on doing. There's this mother who her name is Wendy Holt. She's 51. Wendy Holt is kind of a big girl and big-breasted. Well, she kept her cell phone in her bra so it would be within easy reach for years. She developed breast cancer, and she lives in Europe. She developed breast cancer, and now it looks like it's terminal. It looks like there's no fixing it, and the Post says that she probably will not reach her 53rd birthday. So she's 51, and they're thinking that the terminal diagnosis, as reported in this Post, Daily Mail, and I'll put it on our website so you can see it. Everyone can see it. It looks like the prognosis is not good. She absolutely positively feels that her cancer is a result of her keeping her phone in contact with her skin, her body, her breast for about 70% of the day for about 10 years. And she said she didn't give it, a thought. She just thought, no, this is fine. It's a good place to put it. I've asked the women at the meetup if, how many of them have thought about doing that, how many of them have done it. And there we have people who come to our Monday meetup who have done it too. And, then we started reporting, a couple of years ago that this is really, really dangerous. You and I have talked about the dangers of electromagnetic radiation. And, everyone who had, I believe, has stopped doing it. Those who come to the meetup. So, Dr. Shealy, are you still convinced that there is a link between cancer and cell phones, this woman got or believes she got from putting it in her bra and having contact for 10 years for 70% of the day?
I think it could be a major contributor. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, there's rarely a single cause of anything. But, I don't see, first of all, any reason to have yourself wired to everybody in the world all the time, anywhere. Personally, I do carry a turned off old-fashioned flip phone when I travel. And it's in case of true emergency. Living out in the country, if you have if your car suddenly isn't working in some reason, it is wise to have a phone, in my opinion. But I don't think anyone needs to be available 24 hours a day to just any old body who wants to call them. And so I consider it actually a pest just of my energy and time, let alone the electromagnetic influence, which is equally not very acceptable. And at home, I don't have a walk around the home phone either, only a so-called desk phone.
Mm-hmm. With a cord, right?
With a cord plugged into the wall.
Mm-hmm. Years ago, I'd be working in the shop, we'll call it our garage, with our son. We'd be working on one of the pieces of equipment, farm equipment, trucks. We'd be repairing something. And his cell phone would buzz. He'd get a text message, and he'd have to stop. And he would respond. And I would stand there, and I'd look at him. Like, you're holding me up. I've got things to do while you respond to this text. And he'd put the phone away, and we'd get back to work, and he'd get another text. And I don't know how important they were. I really don't know. But how important could they be? Okay? And when we were children, if we were going to get together with one of our buddies, we'd call up and we'd say, "Hey, Pete, do you want to get together and, this afternoon after school? After we got home from school, you want to get together? Your house, our house? Okay. And you want to work on, on that engine? What would you like to do? Or, hey, can you come on over and help me with the engine?" And it would be like a really short conversation, done. It would be agreed on, time, place, activity. It'd be done really fast. And then Pete would say to his mom, listen, I'm going over to Vinny's house and I'll be home for dinner just before dinner. So his mom would know where he's going. He'd get her blessing. He'd come over. And, we didn't spend a lot of time talking about what we're going to talk about. It was done quickly and we got right to the activity. I don't think that's quite the case anymore. And I think we waste too much time being interrupted. And I imagine that if I had a job and I had a cell phone and I could, receive texts and, I wouldn't get very much work done because I'd be interrupted by, interruptions. So I really enjoy not having a cell phone. And it only took like a couple weeks for those who, would call me and text me to realize that I'm not answering. And I'm not answering because I don't have a cell phone. And for me, I love it. And, I travel without one. I've made it all the way to Springfield and back. I've made it to a lot of places. And for me, it works. Now, I understand how, you could have a mechanical failure of a vehicle or worse, a crash or an accident or a medical emergency. And I understand that, a cell phone has its purposes. I really do. I am trying my best to live without it. So here's where I'm going with this. They have, commuter trains in New York City and Chicago and Japan, and they're all over the place. These like subway type trains, and they're metal containers, metal boxes with some glass windows. And so you might have 40, 50 people in one of them, and just about everybody has a cell phone, and they're all communicating with the cell towers. So now you're in the microwave oven with, 30, 40, 50 cell phones. And I thought about that while I was doing tractor therapy over the weekend. I thought, when we go to a meetup, there's at least that many cell phones in the meetup, in the room. High concentration of cell phones. And I'm certain that the only person at a typical meetup without a cell phone is me. Mm-hmm. I'm certain of that because I've asked. I've asked how many people are willing to give up their cell phones at meetups. Just me. So now I'm thinking, you know what? Not only do we have the potential to be spied upon and the cameras turned on remotely at the meetups, which I certainly do not like, but I'm exposing myself to more electromagnetic radiation than I need because I live out here in the middle of nowhere. I believe I'm hypersensitive to electromagnetic radiation because it gives me headaches, and I'm going to these meetups where there are all these cell phones. So now I've come to the conclusion that, and this is where Vinny takes his ball and goes home. I've come to the conclusion that I do not need to subject myself to that electromagnetic radiation. It's not necessary. If someone absolutely positively is expecting a phone call, well, then stay home. Make sure that they're...
I'm agreeing with you, of course. I love it.
Well, this is like when someone said to my son, wait a minute. So you're just going to take your ball and go home? And he said, yeah. Well, yes.
Now,
why would we do this, Dr. Shealy? Now, it's not like I have a contract to be there. It's not like I'm being compensated to be there. It's not like, and that wouldn't have much bearing on it anyway. But what I'm saying is, I'm volunteering my time and I'm thinking, why would I do this? Why would I subject myself to just the electromagnetic radiation of being in a room?
Big question when we get back.
Yeah. So that's the question. Pretty strong step I'm going to take. So what this means is, this could be the end of the meetups. If the group says, no, we want our cell phones, I'll say, okay, you've got everything all set. You got everything you need. Have a nice, have great success. We'll be right back. By now, you know that USAprepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
No way. Is that a real bullet necklace?
No, it's a 9mm bullet necklace with matching earrings, you'll notice.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get them?
Dave found them at patriotnecklace.com.
Wow.
They have a variety of calibers and necklaces and earrings and keychains.
PatriotNecklace.com?
PatriotNecklace.com.
Your choice of caliber bullet includes a rugged American-made stainless steel dog tag chain. A percentage of every sale goes to military and service-related charities. And get a discount by entering GCN at checkout. Show your patriotism and support our troops with a bullet necklace from PatriotNecklace.com.
Okay, open your mouth and say ah. When your child has a sore throat, you need to know when to get help. The doctor recommended Say Ah Sore Throat Exam is your solution. The scientifically designed oral retractor offers a clear view of the throat, relaxing the tongue and minimizing gag reflex. Compare with a medical grade chart, website, and app. Then you'll know just what to tell your doctor. A wellness plan in your hands in minutes. Go to SayAhHNow.com. SayAhNow.com, the new mainstay for every family's first aid kit. Sciatica, lower back pain, hip pain, poor posture. If you suffer from any of these problems, get ready to relax. Introducing an amazing product that's been in the market for over 25 years, the Sacro Wedgie. It was invented by a football coach using a common sense osteopath technique. He created this device to help his athletes by isolating and supporting the sacrum, which is the keystone of our anatomy. This wedge-shaped bone is in the center of our hips, where a lot of pain starts. Simply relax 20 minutes daily on the amazingly simple Sacro Wedgie and let gravity do the work, helping muscles rebalance and start releasing nerves. Sit in the Sacro Wedgie at the computer or while traveling to help correct posture to finally help relieve those stubborn aches and pains for only $33.95. It's made in the USA, so click the family-owned website at sacrowedgie.com, spelled SACROWEDGY.com, or call 1-800-737-9295. That's 1-800-737-9295. Relax your back pain away with the Sacro Wedgie.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the most affordable body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. KD offers soft armor and rifle threat rated armor up to level 4. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free tactical scarf for a limited time with any body armor package. That's CATIarmor.com. Come and take it.
As if chlorine in our water weren't bad enough, now they're adding ammonia?
It's true. Some municipalities are now adding ammonia plus chlorine to your water supply. It's a disinfectant called chloramine. But with a trusted Big Berkey water filter, you can keep chloramine out of your water. New NSF EPA certified lab tests show EPA Berkey water filters remove chloramines, pharmaceuticals, BPA, pesticides, bacteria and viruses, all forms of fluoride, and much more. Big Berkey water filters are the original and most trusted on the market, the gold standard in water purification. And our filters last for years at less than 2 cents per gallon. Big Berkey, the one that's powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. Get your Big Berkey today. Call 1-877-99-BERKEY or click BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
The human body is more than 60% water. Your brain and muscles are 75% water. And your blood is 92% water. Water's vital to your body, and alkalizing your water is the key to keep it running at its best. AlkaVision Plasma pH drops keep your entire body healthy, boosts energy, promotes weight loss, and even fights cancer. Call 800-518-7615 or go to alkavision.com to find out more. That's ALKAvision.com.
Dr. Norman Shealy's with us. And so I was mentioning that I don't want to be at meetups anymore where there are cell phones. I certainly don't like the tracking, the spying, the microphones that can be turned on remotely. I certainly don't like the cameras being turned on remotely. I don't like the data being stored. And it might inhibit what we say. And I've been asked to stream live the meetups, and I didn't want to do it, but I asked the meetup group, what do you guys want to do? Are you interested in? No one's interested in streaming live the meetups. I mean, there's important content that we can be sharing, but the privacy factor that we would lose is something that the meetup group does not want to lose. So if if you want to come to the meetup, you're certainly welcome to come to the meetup and see what we're up to. But in terms of electromagnetic radiation, I'm not interested in being subjected to it any more than I have to be. So, Dr. Shealy, did you have a question about that?
Well, I was going to ask one biggie. Do you mind if they have them as long as they're turned off, or do you want them left in the car?
No, I want them left in the car, and I'll tell you why. Even though they're turned off, they're still communicating.
Yeah.
Even though they're off.
I see no problem with just saying you may not bring a cell phone into the meeting. If you don't like that, don't come. That makes it
yeah, and we've had right. There's no admission price. We don't charge people to come. There are no rules. We don't say, well, you missed 3 meetings, so you can't come anymore, or we have dues, or we have a sign-up sheet. We don't have any of that. There's no rules, nothing. All it is a bunch of people who are polite that think in similar ways. So there's not even a printed agenda for the meetings. Okay. Anyone who wants to speak pretty much gets a chance to speak. I do appreciate some notice. If someone wants to speak for half an hour on something, it sure is nice to be able to know that in advance. But other than, and I don't allow people to sell things. I mean, this is not a group where if you want to sell something, you come and sell it. But however, there are people who grow vegetables and bring them in and they say, you know what, I've got some watermelons. I'd appreciate $1 a piece. And, they certainly get that. But so many people bring potatoes and plants and beans and tomatoes and they just say, here they are. If you want them, have at it. It's really a wonderful, wonderful group. But the cell phone thing is a problem for me. And so instead of having a rule of saying no cell phones, what I'd rather do is say, you can bring your cell phones. I just won't be here.
Well, I would just say you must leave them in the car.
Well, I do have that rule at the house. I do have a rule. And, like when we have, every once in a while, as you'll invite some friends over for, a get together at your farm. We do the same thing. And, a lot of times I'll put a sign up that says, on the doors, all the doors that somebody might enter, please leave your cell phones in your car. And then I'll have a little discussion as to why. And not everybody appreciates that. A lot of, some people take great offense to that. Like, I can't bring my cell phone? Yeah, that's right. You can't bring your cell phone.
Well, good on you, mate.
Well, another way of doing that. I mean, let's think about this. So let's have our class think about this. So, you have a little get together and you invite some friends over for, I don't know, potluck. And each person brings, some kind of a dish and you're just getting together and just to be neighborly and friendly with, your buddies and your friends. And one guy brings in a tape recorder and puts it on the kitchen table. Another guy sets up a movie camera and
oh, Vince, I love you.
and says, listen, don't mind me. I'll just leave this camera. That red light means it's on. Just don't,
Why, I enjoy being with you.
Dr. Shealy's with us, and we're going to come back, if they let us. right after the top of the hour news and commercial announcements. I've got some medical questions about diabetes, type 1, type 2, juvenile and adult onset. What does all that mean? We'll be right back. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Ricky LeBlanc, admitted in Mass only. Sokolov Law, LLC, Chestnut Hill, Mass. Ken Levin, responsible attorney in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Greg Hobby, New Jersey. The choice of lawyer is an important decision that should not be based solely upon advertisements. While this firm maintains joint responsibility, most cases of this type are referred to other attorneys for principal responsibility. If you know what mesothelioma is, you or someone you love has likely been impacted by this devastating cancer. You may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolov Law today. 1-800-218-HELP. The only known cause of mesothelioma is asbestos exposure. Thousands of hard-working men and women, including many U.S. veterans and industrial workers, have been diagnosed with mesothelioma because manufacturers knew the dangers but put profits ahead of people. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trust has been set aside to pay money to asbestos victims. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call now. You may be entitled to receive compensation without ever going to court or filing a lawsuit. Call for a free legal consultation at 1-800-218-HELP. That's 1-800-218.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Everyone all set? Cocked, locked, ballist. Here we go. Hour number 2 of USAPrepares.com with Dr. Norm Shealy. And if you'd like to go to his website, normshealy.com, NORMSHEALY.com. Dr. Shealy is a medical doctor. Dr. Shealy, at the last meetup, last Monday, I said to the group, we were talking about preparedness, and I said, what if you lived in California? And you know there's a drought in California, and it's a real problem. And it's not so much a problem here because I believe we're getting California's rain and moisture here in Missouri because it's been pretty wet this summer. As a matter of fact, we had about 12 weeks of nonstop drizzle, rain, overcast weather, and the grass grew like crazy. Anyway, so I said, so what would happen if you lived in California and you knew that the drought was going to continue for another month? And I heard the answer, well, get a tank on a trailer and get some water. It's okay. What about 2 months? And someone said, get two trailers or 2 tanks of water. Okay. I said 6 months. I was like, well, now it's getting kind of serious. I said, what about another year? 5 years? 10 years? It's like, oh man. If we lived in California and we thought that the drought was going to last another 10 years, man, it's looks like we got to get out of California because, without water, it's really hard to support life. And I said, California is the produce center for the country. That's where a lot of our produce comes from. And having a drought is a big problem. I said, now, what if you had information that led you to come to the conclusion that the drought would continue for a long time? As a matter of fact, what if the drought were happening because of the radiation, the effects of the radiation from Fukushima? What if you thought that, and what if you had some scientific evidence to that, to lead to that conclusion? And how long would that radiation be around? And is that radiation modifying the weather? So if you thought that, and then the next conclusion is, well, then the drought, if it's based on the radiation, could last in practical terms for us as humans forever. So if the drought were going to last forever, what would you do? And, that really wiped the smiles off everybody's face. And they're starting to think, maybe there really is something to this drought. And maybe the charge, the positive charge in the atmosphere as a result of the radiation is pushing the weather away, the moisture away, and maybe that's why we have it here. But this could be a serious problem, and we could have done it to ourselves. So we started talking about that, and it became a very serious discussion. And I just wanted to share with our class today, what if that were the case? What if the drought in California is going to last lifetimes, centuries?
Well, to be
Pretty
quite
serious.
honest, I don't think that large populations were meant to live in the desert. And
right.
Most of California is a desert. Of at least a third or a fourth of our country is desert. And I just don't think that we were meant to try to produce adequate water for people who live in the desert. But that's their choice, and they have to live with the consequences. Now, Fukushima is something that may affect California prematurely, if you will, compared to the rest of us. But there are many who believe, without necessarily great proof that it's going to happen, that ultimately Fukushima is going to be the on-the-beach scenario that was talked about in the book back in the 60s. And I wouldn't doubt it.
And you're talking about an extinction?
Yeah. I have felt since at least 1960, if not since 1950, that the most stupid, unbelievably stupid thing that humanity has ever done is create nuclear energy in the first place. And using it for power production is beyond belief. It is just an IQ of 80 is smart enough to know better.
Dr. Shealy, do you remember seeing commercials on television, articles being written in publications back in the 50s stating that nuclear energy, nuclear generated electricity is the wave of the future. We will have electric homes, and it'll be clean, and it'll be safe, and it'll be inexpensive, and you could almost, power your home with electric heat, electric air conditioning, electric appliances, all kinds of electric devices to make life just wonderful. Did you see those things? I did.
I've never been a TV watcher, so I missed them. I missed them 50, 60 years ago, and I miss them today.
Well, did you
shows
see
what I
articles
think of
written
television,
about,
by the way.
nuclear power and
Well,
yeah,
they're
right.
they're stupid.
And it hasn't gotten any better, that's for sure.
But Vince, what on earth on television would you believe?
Oh, absolutely. Well, very little. Very
Right.
little.
I mean, the media
They're even the documentaries
are fake.
Let me give you an example of why I say this, Dr. Shealy. Two of our instructors, Alan Busick from the Springfield area and Franco Molea from the Springfield area, were on Doomsday Preppers. And they were set up to be in this. The Doomsday Preppers episode was about aquaponics, raising fish and plants for food in a synergistic relationship. So you'd feed the fish would have waste. The plants would use the waste from the fish to grow, and everything would be just in a wonderful environment where the plants and the fish would support each other. You could eat the fish, you could eat the plants. Anyway, Franco they were doing the video, and Franco was talking to the producer, and he said, I'll tell you what, here's what we'll do. We'll get a shot of you eating this bug, this worm that you are raising to feed the fish. And Franco said, no way. And the producer said, I'll tell you what, you eat one, I'll eat one. So Franco was coerced into eating this worm, which he had told the meetup group that he was sick, violently sick for 3 days, throwing up. He thought he was going to die from the bacteria of this, just picking out a worm out of this worm environment. And he ate the smallest worm. He said it was disgusting. And so that was used as the lead in for the episode of Doomsday Preppers. Franco just grabbing this worm, down the hatch, his daughter screaming like, "Oh, Daddy, that's disgusting." And so that's what appeared over and over and over and over on National Geographic's Doomsday Preppers. So when you see things on TV, do you think Franco would really eat that worm? No. It wasn't like he had a gun to his head, but he was coerced into doing it. And he never would have done it. However, it was on TV as if, oh yeah, we can eat these worms. So what I'm saying is I don't believe much on television. And I was at an event, a prepper event back in the 90s. And there was this camera crew there. Mrs. Finelli was there with me, and we had our children. And everyone was dressed very much like you'd see at USA Prepares Get Prepared Expo. Everyone was polite, well-behaved. And this one guy walked in, and he looked like Hell's Angels. He was dressed like that. It looked like he left his motorcycle outside. He was dressed completely differently from everybody else who was there. And the camera crew went right over to him and videoed him. And, so they're going to put him on TV as, this is who attends the preparedness event. Well, I went over to the guy, the camera guy and the talent, and I said, hey, he's the only guy that looks like this. The only guy. Everyone else looks like, just look around, like us. The guy said, okay, I'll tell you what. We'll video you. I said, okay. There are only 3 things I require. 1 is your business card. 2 is a copy of the final production. And 3 is all the video that you shoot of me. He said, no. And I said, no. So what I'm saying is this guy would not give me all the video that he shot of me. And he would not agree to give me his business card. And what I'm saying is I've been on television. I've been on the NBC Today show. And I see how they do it. What you see on television is not exactly what happens. They can do a lot with editing and, cutting and pasting. They really can. As a matter of fact, it looked like I was having a discussion, and I was being interviewed. There were 2 people there, and we're sitting face to face being interviewed. And really what happened is the camera shot one of us at a time and then spliced it and made it look like we were having a discussion. But that's not what happened. We were interviewed one at a time. So what you see on TV is not necessarily the way it really went, the way it really happened. So you're right, Dr. Shealy. You're absolutely right. When we come back, diabetes, type 1, type 2, juvenile, and onset, can you help us with what those diabetes types really mean, and should we be concerned? Can we get diabetes? Are we predisposed to diabetes? Dr. Norman Shealy, and I'll be right back. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
That's the sound your brain makes when you realize you're buying something and forgot the coupon. Online or in a store, knowing that you're missing a deal is the worst. You need the app from Retail Me Not right now. Get thousands of coupons from 50,000 stores like Kohl's, Domino's, Best Buy, and more with crazy deals like 60% off, free shipping, and free gifts with purchase. You can get a text invite to download the Retail Me Not app 100% free right now for Apple or Android. Just text the code UPDATE to 42767. Then just show your phone at checkout to save. It literally couldn't be easier. It's 2015. Keep your coupons in your phone. Stop what you're doing and text UPDATE to 42767. Listeners will get a text with a link to download it 100% free. Never forget another coupon again. Text the code UPDATE to 42767 right now. That's UPDATE to 42767. Message and data rates may apply. For terms and privacy, visit retailmenot.com.
We've been patiently waiting while you tried to ignore us, waiting while you acted like we didn't exist, waiting for our chance to be taken seriously. The wait is over. GCN is available 24/7 at GCNlive.com. Navigate through news from your favorite hosts and download archives of past shows. Download the app on your smartphone or tablet or visit GCNlive.com for instant access and live streaming. GCNlive.com, the future of talk radio, now at your fingertips.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it led back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Hi, Ted Anderson. I'm placing a silver dollar in a book explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and bad tweets can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? Reputation.com can protect your good name. Get a free consultation now at 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis from Reputation.com right now. Call 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771. 800-831-0771.
Dr. Norman Shealy's with us, normshealy.com. Dr. Shealy, I'm learning that more and more of us are diagnosed with diabetes, either pre-diabetes or diabetes. Can you tell us what is diabetes type 1, type 2, juvenile, onset. I mean, are some of them the same? Are some of those terms the same, or are they different? And what is diabetes?
There is a difference. In type 1, the pancreas has been damaged significantly and just can't produce, under ordinary circumstances, normal weight and all that, adequate insulin. It appears that a majority of the people who develop diabetes type 1 do it early in life, often even before age 20 or sometimes even before 10. And it may often be triggered by a viral infection. But once you've got it, you have, a lifelong problem. In general, if the diabetes comes on after age 34 or 5, it is type 2. Type 2 means you have exhausted your pancreas. It can produce insulin, but you're just asking it to do more than anybody should. And it is 99% of the time caused by being fat, overweight, and eating junk. And of course, all stress adds up too, but it is exquisitely rare for a thin person to develop type 2. There is a genetic predisposition, especially to type 2, and it does, quote, run in families, but so do behaviors like eating junk and being fat. Again, 90+% of obesity is just pure sloppy eating and inactive behavior. It's not something that comes on to people who pay attention to what they eat and who move. Now, all of that having been said, there are nutritional deficiencies that can aggravate the situation, especially chromium deficiency. Chromium is an exquisitely essential mineral needed in the manufacture of insulin. So I recommend that anybody who has a family history, even if they are thin, consider taking 1 milligram a day of a chromium supplement. Some people also do need vanadium, another mineral. And that comes as vanadyl sulfate. Other than that, and exercise and optimal stress management, I don't have a lot to say. I do believe that, again, 99% of people can maintain their weight within normal range, and that means a body index of 18 to 24 if they just have good health habits. It's that simple.
Dr. Shealy, as I was listening to what you're saying, I was thinking about, we have a visitor at the farm, and she's staying with us, and she was a nurse for her entire professional career. Graduated college, nursing degree, and from that point on, she has been a nurse. And so I was having a discussion with her about why, just kind of an open-ended question. During your career as a nurse, what did you see in hospitals? And it kind of led into overweight. And I said, what do you think caused it? Kind of an open-ended question. And she said, well, many causes, kind of what you're saying. And she said, stress, eating, the kinds of foods that we have in America, the kinds of foods that I call extruded foods, things that you can get in packages that will last years, without decaying. I'm talking about crackers and, those orange colored cheese crackers that, and then the fat, even bacteria won't eat them. And, and the McDonald's and, its clones of hamburgers that, people are eating. And if you want to see what a McDonald's hamburger does, just look at the employees. Seriously, just look at them. And you can see how long they've been there by how much weight they've gained. And so we had a similar discussion. Same results.
No way. Is that a real bullet necklace?
No, it's a 9mm bullet necklace with matching earrings, you'll notice.
Those are awesome. Where'd you get them?
Dave found them at patriotnecklace.com.
Wow.
They have a variety of calibers and necklaces and earrings and keychains.
PatriotNecklace.com?
PatriotNecklace.com.
Your choice of caliber bullet includes a rugged American-made stainless steel dog tag chain. A percentage of every sale goes to military and service-related charities. And get a discount by entering GCN at checkout. Show your patriotism and support our troops with a bullet necklace from PatriotNecklace.com.
Okay, open your mouth and say ah.
When your child has a sore throat, you need to know when to get help. The doctor recommended Say Ah Sore Throat Exam is your solution. The scientifically designed oral retractor offers a clear view of the throat, relaxing the tongue and minimizing gag reflex. Compare with a medical grade chart, website, and app. Then you'll know just what to tell your doctor. A wellness plan in your hands in minutes. Go to SayAhHNow.com. SayAhNow.com, the new mainstay for every family's first aid kit.
Many experts are predicting that food prices will surge this year due to the severe drought in California. 30dayfoodsupply.com has pre-purchased a large supply of ingredients so we can continue to sell our 30-day food supply for only $99, and there's no limit to the number of boxes you can purchase. Our vegetarian meals are naturally high in fiber, carbs, and protein, and they're packed with oxygen absorbers in Mylar bags. Oregon Trail Foods and 30dayfoodsupply.com keep prices low by buying directly from the producers in Oregon and then pass the savings on to you. Call 800-700-2184. And remember, only $10 ships your entire order to the lower 48. Visit the website 30dayfoodsupply.com or call 800-700-2184. That's 30dayfoodsupply.com at 800-700-2184. 800-700-2184 for 30dayfoodsupply.com.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Thousands of people seeking home security get ripped off every day, and the home security industry wants you to believe that's your only option. They've got hordes of salesmen out there trying to scare you into signing one of their long-term contracts. You get stuck writing huge checks month after month with no way out. It's robbery by contract, and it can cost you thousands. But there's a better way to protect your home. Simply Safe Home Security. Simply Safe has no contracts. None. You'll get award-winning 24/7 protection. Security professionals watching over your home, ready to instantly send police to the rescue for just $14.99 per month. That's less than half what most companies charge. Protect your home the smart way. Visit simplysafedefense.com today for an exclusive 10% offer and get a free keychain remote worth $25. Only when you go to simplysafedefense.com. simplysafedefense.com.
Owe $10,000 or more to the IRS?
Get on board with the Tax Admiral. Don't take on the IRS alone. I'll cut penalties and reduce your overall tax bill. Sometimes I can even get it zeroed out completely.
We're an A-rated company helping people clean up their mess with the IRS.
If you owe $10,000 or more, then call the Tax Admiral.
Call 800-287-7180. Again, that's 800-287-7180. 800-287-7180.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. cut costs, and get more. 1-855-905-MyTV. 1-855-905-MyTV.
You know, I've got some idiosyncrasies in class, and one of the idiosyncrasies that I have is when I go to a news article and I get bombarded with commercial advertisements, one after the next, and it really says, you know, your information will appear in 30 seconds. I look at who is really interrupting my progress as someone who's trying to read the news. I'm not talking about radio. I'm talking about, you know, just an internet. Sometimes I get annoyed with the short commercials, like a couple seconds, and I like the ability to just say, skip this commercial. But when I have these commercials that I just, you know, it's 30 seconds just so I can look at an article, I pay attention to who is interrupting my progress, and I go, okay, well, I'm not gonna support those guys. So, you know, like Ford, I get a Ford commercial and I go, all right, if that's if that's the way they're going to behave, you know, I certainly am interested in learning about Fords, but I'm not interested in being held up by them. So I go, okay, well, all right, I'm less interested in Ford. So I look at commercials that as something that tells me who I'm less interested in rather than more interested. And the reason I'm saying that is we have this listen line at USA Prepares. It's our listen line. I'm really delighted. I mean, I learned about it at the same time that the class did when it was announced on the air about a week ago. 605-477-3249. 605-477-3249. No commercials. You just dial that number. That's our number. You dial it and boom, usaprepares.com. 24 hours a day. 605-477-3249. Now, you don't get charged for it. You don't get charged by the company that providing the listen line. You will, if you have unlimited long distance, you don't pay for it. But if you have toll long distance, we have to pay for minutes, then you'll have to pay, you know, your long distance carrier. But other than that, it's free. So, and it really works. And I'm delighted to announce 605-477-3249. Dr. Shealy, so diabetes, now type 1 is the diabetes that's diagnosed usually in children and young adults. And is that what was previously known as juvenile diabetes?
Yes, it's the same as juvenile.
Okay. And so that's where there's this confusion because there's type 1 and type 2. So type 1 is juvenile diabetes. Now, adult onset diabetes, is that known as type 2?
That is correct.
Okay. So there are really only two, but there are four names for the two types of diabetes.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay. And there's so much confusion about that because I've, heard of adult onset, which is type 2, and type 1, so type 2 is adult onset, and type 1 is juvenile. Now, nutrition can help the type 1, is that correct or not?
Well, yeah, nutrition helps both.
Okay.
No question that type 1s need to avoid added sugar, period. I mean, that's the single most important thing.
All right. When I was growing up, I remember hearing my dad say to family members, easy on the sugar, back off on the sugar because you can get diabetes. And there was this link that, I was taught there is a link between excessive sugar and diabetes with a predisposition of diabetes that, could be in the family. And I used to hear, when we had extended family get-togethers, like, many families used to have, which hardly any families have anymore, where you'd meet with the aunts and uncles, once or twice a year and cousins and all, be great get-togethers. Well, you'd hear those kinds of things. And so, Dr. Shealy, was my father right that there is this link between excessive sugar and causing diabetes?
Absolutely. No question about it. And it's not just table sugar, which is sucrose, it's fructose, corn syrup, junk, et cetera, all of that. And by the way, it is worthwhile recommending that anyone, especially with type 1 diabetes, read Dr. Bernstein, diabetic book. He is currently, I guess, close to 80 years of age, a type 1 diabetic all his life, and has managed to maintain himself without insulin. So Dr. Bernstein's diabetes solution is definitely worth people reading.
Okay, so this is online. I just found it. Dr. Bernstein, Bernstein, Diabetes Solution, and says you can read it online. It's a low carbohydrate diet. He is 81. He was born in New York City, and his education was from the Albert Einstein College of Medicine. He's a physician. So that's great. I will put a link. Do you have a link on your website, Dr. Shealy, for this?
I don't have a link there. Probably, you have a lot more links than I do. I'm link poor.
Well, I don't know. In my spare time, or my free time, or time I make free time, I work on that. But that's another thing that's happening to me, Dr. Shealy. I'm finding I have less time to do things. I'm finding that my farm is taking more and more time than it has before. And I'm having less time to devote to the website. Maybe I'm hoping that'll change during the winter, but I'm overwhelmed with phone calls. I'm overwhelmed with, farming, and I'm finding, and it's not just me, I'm getting calls from, around the globe telling me that I'm not the only one that's having hydraulic failures. I was talking with Mike Parsons yesterday. He was telling me that he's having power steering failures, and I was telling him that having hose failures like refrigeration hoses in farm equipment failing, just bubbling up from the inside. We're having ozone-related failures, hoses that are cracking and becoming brittle and failing. I have replaced over the weekend 2 more hydraulic hoses on one tractor, power steering hoses on a tractor that I cannot turn the steering wheel without. It's so heavy that you need power steering for this tractor. It weighs about 12,000 pounds, and that's without an implement on it. So you need power steering, and these hoses are failing. And then when I got done, with the failures, I had to use another tractor to bale the hay. And Mrs. Finelli said, wow, good thing we have my tractor, meaning hers, which is an International. It's a smaller tractor, 40 horsepower, and that tractor never fails. And I said, well, not exactly. That had a hydraulic failure too, and we got to replace a hose on that one as well. So what we're finding is more hydraulic failures, and I believe it has to do with the sun's UV rays, and I believe temperatures and electromagnetic radiation and all the other radiation. I think rubber products are failing at a pretty rapid pace.
They also respond to stress. Stress is physical. Stress is chemical. Stress is nuclear. And people, it's also emotional. I doubt that rubber has an emotion, but those of us dealing with it do.
That's a really great correlation that you've tied here, Dr. Shealy, because so we look at, and let me tell you what I've done. As I'm replacing these hoses, I bought a 10-pack of electrical tape, these black rolls of electrical tape. I am now taping the entire hose with electrical tape. So I'm saying I've got a rubber hose and I'm putting a layer of electrical tape, leaving no gaps, a tight layer of electrical tape over the hose to add additional protection against the ozone. So I'm spending maybe 25, 50 cents worth of electrical tape on each one of these hoses. And where the hoses rub into anything, I'm putting a layer of, I've taken an inner tube from a tire and I've wrapped very tightly a layer of rubber to protect against abrasion. So yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. The threats to us, like the ozone threats, I'm protecting these hoses against. And the pressures and the heat. I'm staying out of the heat as best I can, and I'm trying to protect the hoses from the heat, and I'm reducing the engine temperatures by changing the thermostats from 195 to 200 degrees down to 180, because the heat that affects me, I'm thinking, yeah, it affects these engines as well, and more failures because of the heat. You're absolutely right. Wow.
I don't know what nuclear, let's face it, the background nuclear contamination, as I understand it, over the earth has doubled essentially since Fukushima.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody talks about that.
Right.
Not just in the Pacific Ocean and in California where it's much higher, but everywhere because it, goes in the air. And I have no idea what that does. I know what it does to living beings, plants and people and animals, but I don't know what it does to stuff like rubber, plastic.
Well, I can tell you that we're finding that tires on our road, we have a lot of rocks on our road. It's not even a gravel road. It's a dirt road, but we have a lot of rocks here in this part of Missouri. And we're finding that the tires are easily punctured by the rocks. I mean, it's kind of like arrowheads going through the tread of the tire, right through the steel belts. And so our tires are failing. They're wearing out faster. And I was looking at the tires on the front of Mrs. Finelli's tractor. I had to replace them. Now, the original tires lasted about 18 years. I replaced them with new tires, and the new tires are about half worn out after just a couple years. So I'm thinking that we're not getting anywhere near the lifespan out of rubber products that we used to.
But is the rubber the same?
Well, no, it's not, because I talked to a machinist.
Right.
And he said the rubber is not the same, it's thinner. And I talked with Miles, one of our instructors in Europe, and he said they're adding silica to rubber as well as used rubber to new rubber products. All of this is causing failures faster. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The Guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit Guns80.com, Guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Healthy, organic, fresh fish, robust, mouth-watering vegetables, all from your home. It's called aquaponics. This brilliant, self-sustaining protein and veggie system is perfect for year-round growing. Know exactly where your food is coming from. Aquaponicssource.com is the one-stop shop for all your needs. Fish, fish food, plumbing, full systems, classes, and more. Learn to build your own system. Go to aquaponicssource.com for a free guide to aquaponics. That's aquaponicssource.com.
Virtually anyone can hack your cell phone and track your calls, your texts, your emails, your every movement, but only if they can detect a signal. Stay one step ahead of hackers and Big Brother with a Block-It Pocket, a custom-made pocket infused with pure silver that creates a complete Faraday enclosure for your cell phone. For free shipping to the lower 48, visit blockitpocket.com or call 888-315-9618, blockitpocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help so it has the tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.
This is Sharon Hunt. Before using Heart and Body Extract, my energy level was very, very low. I could only walk a few feet and then would have to sit down. I was tired and lethargic. But after taking Heart and Body Extract, my energy level has improved greatly, and I can now walk longer distances without getting tired so fast. Thank you, Heart and Body Extract.
Learn the secrets of an effective, natural, 100% organic nutritional supplement for a healthy heart and circulation at hbextract.com.
What would your life be like if you woke up each morning with new vitality, feeling better than you have in years, and you noticed a difference in your sleeping patterns, blood sugar levels, and had a sense of well-being overall? There's something that is changing thousands of people's lives, and you could be one of them. It's called Heart and Body Extract. Sharon Harris, co-creator of Heart and Body Extract, talks about the positive effects of Heart and Body Extract.
What happens with the formula Heart and Body Extract is it's giving the body the necessary vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes, and phytonutrients so the body will heal itself. And yes, the body does have the ability to balance blood pressure, balance cholesterol, clean and unclog the arteries. It can also work on balancing the circulation for diabetics. So the body is an amazing thing. It simply needs some help so it has the tools to heal itself.
Heart and Body Extract gets results. To order your 2-month supply, call now, toll free at 866-295-5305. Order online at hbextract.com.
We've all heard the news stories. Another shooting, and they're getting worse. That's why Infidel Body Armor introduces Infidel Fridays, exclusive 24-hour insider deals to save you money and possibly save your life. Make it a favorite when you log on to InfidelBodyArmor.com. Then be sure to visit each and every Infidel Friday to get special insider pricing, but for 24 hours only. That's InfidelBodyArmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
Dr. Shealy, I just got off the phone with Dr. Richard Bernstein's office, and they're listening to USA Prepares right now, and he may be coming on the air with us to talk about diabetes.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Oh, your fault.
Great.
I'm all excited. Because I think diabetes is so important. We need that information. And, would you like to be on the air with him at the same time?
Well, I'd be delighted to do it. I don't know that I couldn't go near his expertise, but I'd be delighted.
Okay. Have you ever met him, face to face, or?
I've never even talked to him or written to him. But
Okay.
I've
Well,
recommended his book for years.
okay. Well, looks like, we can probably make that happen. So I'm all excited. I really am, because, I explained to, it was funny because when his office first answered, they thought it was a sales call. They hung up on me. I said, "Hi, this is Vincent Finelli." Click. And I called back and they said, "Did you just call?" I said, "Yeah, I did." And they said, "We thought it was a sales call." I said, "Well, it is." Kind of. I'd love to. I said that I was on the air with you. You're a medical doctor. And that you had been talking about Dr. Bernstein's book and his solution, and that it might be great to have Dr. Bernstein on the air with us talking about diabetes. And they said, "Well, you know what?" I said, "I'm an activist." And they said, "Oh, this is great." So they liked that. So I'm all excited,
That's
So
wonderful.
I wanted to thank you.
It doesn't take you long.
Well, that's why, one of the reasons why I don't want to be on video, because I do things like that. And, I use all the time that we have, even between the breaks, as productively as I can. So here's a question I had, Dr. Shealy. We've talked about this, but I think we need to say it. Fast food and poor health. Is there a correlation?
Mm-hmm.
For those who are, new to the broadcast.
Fast food is junk. You might just as well just be eating dirt. In fact, dirt would be less harmful.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So are we talking about, when we say fast food, are we talking about those fast hamburgers?
I'm talking about everything that calls itself a fast food restaurant. Part of the problem is they add monosodium glutamate to everything.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself is a toxin for the brain. It is
what? Okay. Okay. That goes back to like that Lay's potato chip commercial of decades ago. Bet you can't eat just one. You eat one,
Right.
you go, I got to eat, like the whole bag.
I wouldn't even trust their coffee.
Okay.
I certainly wouldn't trust their salads.
Okay.
So I don't go there.
I had this discussion 2 meetups ago, and someone said, one of our regular meetup gals mentioned, McDonald's has this great new burger and fries and, and a free drink. And I said, are we talking about McDonald's? And she said, yeah. And I said, that's the same company that, has been poisoning us for years, right? That McDonald's? Yeah, but now they got this new menu. So, I think I made one of our regular meetup, instructors annoyed with me because I said, hey, these guys have been poisoning us for years and now it's okay, right? It's okay because they changed a menu item. They want to pull out of this nosedive that they're in financially. So they changed the menu and they think, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't poison so many people so often. So, okay. I'm with you. Very quickly, fish oil. What fish oil do you recommend in 15 seconds or so?
Well, I like salmon oil, and I like one that has the mercury removed for sure. It's just been checked.
Okay. All right. Very good. Dr. Norm Shealy, thank you so much for being with us. By the way, I've noticed some produce from Mexico. I'm avoiding produce from Mexico because I've done lots of reading on how they irrigate with raw sewage, so I'm not interested in
poison.
There you go. So read the labels. Read the labels. Dr. Shealy, thanks so much for being with us. Class, above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Ricky LeBlanc, admitted in Mass only. Sokolov Law, LLC, Chestnut Hill, Mass. Ken Levin, responsible attorney in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Greg Hobby, New Jersey. The choice of lawyer is an important decision that should not be based solely upon advertisements. While this firm maintains joint responsibility, most cases of this type are referred to other attorneys for principal responsibility. If you know what mesothelioma is, you or someone you love has likely been impacted by this devastating cancer. You may be entitled to compensation. Call Sokolov Law today. 1-800-218-HELP. The only known cause of mesothelioma is asbestos exposure. Thousands of hardworking men and women, including many U.S. veterans and industrial workers, have been diagnosed with mesothelioma because manufacturers knew the dangers but put profits ahead of people. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trust has been set aside to pay money to asbestos victims. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call now. You may be entitled to receive compensation without ever going to court or filing a lawsuit. Call for a free legal consultation at 1-800-218-HELP. That's 1-800-218-HELP.